Top five what?
countries for any reason. Again,
That's good. That's good.
Mm.
Sri Lanka, my number one, bro. Number
thanks,
one in
bro.
corruption.
Thanks, bro.
Basically, all the corruption stats.
Okay, we got we got top five countries, we got top five cuisines, we got top five. Okay, welcome back to episode 22 of the Boys University podcast. Today we've got our original four members. We've got a special guest, same as last week. Um, and again, Sahil is missing. That makes it four episodes in a row that Sahil has not been a part of the podcast. And yeah,
Ooh.
hopefully he'll be here next week, or he's getting kicked off the pod. Today we've got a different kind of format to the podcast. We're trying something new today because we want to branch out a bit. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to delve into top threes in different categories. Our top three, blank, whatever. So we can get straight into it. To be fair, so our first question today is, what are your top three countries? And there's no given metric. We haven't had a discussion of how we're going to grade these countries. It's just off the cuff. What are your top three countries? Do you want to take it first?
Okay. So we're going around the group first, saying top
Yeah,
threes, and
yeah.
then we discuss.
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
run it. Everyone go for it, and then
Okay.
yeah.
So my top threes, I'm gonna start with the third one. I put the USA, US of A's. I had to put it there.
Okay. Okay.
Number two, the runner-up is New Zealand for me,
All right.
and number one, okay, home sweet home, Singapore lah. Had to do it.
Okay,
All right.
that's
Who's next?
interesting.
Who's next, Barry?
Barry, run it.
Um, I was gonna say I'll put UK third, Australia second, and actually Singapore first. But I made fun of him, but it's the same.
Okay, where is this going?
we haven't even discussed like what was our criteria or anything,
No,
right?
no,
That's
not
later.
we don't
No,
discuss
no,
that
no.
yet.
We
We
throw
go
it up
after
later.
this.
We
Yeah.
throw it up
We
later.
just throw up all the names first.
Okay, sorry, man.
My third was Egypt. My
Ooh.
second is Australia, and my first is Singapore.
Okay.
Not gonna lie. My third is the US of A. Never even been there. My second is Singapore.
Okay.
My top is Australia.
Why?
Okay. Okay. Thankfully, we've got a bit of variety. So I've got a few names that haven't been thrown out. I've got New Zealand in third place. That's I've got Italy in second place, and I've got Ukraine in first place.
Italy.
Okay.
We can discuss.
Okay.
I mean,
Explain Ukraine. Explain.
Surely
I'm sorry.
Ukraine is the one we gotta talk about, right?
Ukraine.
Sorry, what?
That's out of nowhere. In the
No.
state it's in right now, it can't be a top three.
Honestly, right?
If you
Okay.
don't know the metric, go on then.
Yeah. So what I was thinking about is like, so basically, there's no given like explanation of what we're looking for in our top three countries, right? So I've got a bit of like, so I didn't think I was gonna like rank them, but this is like the ranking that came out in the moment. But so the way I went about it is New Zealand, beautiful country, beautiful place. I've like been there like once, and it was so sick. People are great, place is great, easy. Third place, Italy. I love the food. I love the people. I love the culture, the art, history, the architecture. Love it. Great. Second place. So Ukraine, right? If we look at countries that I have immense respect for, okay, you look at the size of Russia, and then you look at the size of Ukraine, and you look at what they've done. It was supposed to be a 3 day war, 2 day war, whatever. Putin was like, I'm gonna go in, fuck things up, and then we move. A year later, a year and a half later, I don't know what the state is. I haven't read up on news in a while, but
It's not going well.
But the thing is, they still haven't fallen. Ukraine is still standing.
But it's not been a 2-3 day war, to be fair.
Exactly, bro. Fuck, what's his name? Not Klitschko, right? Klitschko's the boxer. What's the fucking prime minister's name?
Not Zverev.
Ah, yeah.
Zelensky.
Zverev. Who's Zverev?
Zverev is the tennis player.
Oh shit.
Zelensky.
No, Zelensky. Bro, he's sick. Man wears the same t-shirt every day. He rocks up to office, and then he just keeps going at the war. And like, I think out of all the you've got Also, I've got criticism to make. We've got SG top spot in 3 out of 4, and we've got a
Hey,
lot of shouts for Australia. We've got a
Hey,
lot of
what
shouts for the
for?
US.
What for? What for?
Bro, if
Yeah, 4 of us here, is it?
If Russia ran through us, we wouldn't stand for a year. We wouldn't stand for a year and a half.
maybe my metric isn't being ass raped by Russia.
And if your metric is really being getting fucked by another
exactly.
country, then why is Mongolia not like top on your list? Didn't they like fuck the world?
No. No, but also like I can't take like so. This is what I've been exposed to in my present situation, and the thing is that the tolerance to getting absolutely fucked is immense, which I respect. Like as like it's just respect. Like bro, they're doing well. Like despite
I get
everything.
it. So
Yeah.
your top three isn't based on the same metric.
No,
But
it's
how
just yeah.
how much whatever that metric is means to you, you convert
yeah.
it into something that you can
Bro,
rank.
Kind of
that's screwed
because
up, man.
because I
That
didn't have
makes
a
no
ranking.
sense.
No, I didn't.
That makes
no, so
no
I didn't.
sense.
I didn't
No,
go
I get
as
it. I
a
get
ranking.
it. It's like let's say you have this value of like how much this country should score. Let's say
Yeah.
it's the Harun index, for example, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And different things contribute to the Harun index. So for his Bhatia index, respect for a country is high, but specifically for Ukraine.
Yeah. I don't got the kind of respect I got for Ukraine for any other country at
You're
this
telling
given
me
moment.
that the most respectable country in the world for you
Yeah.
is Ukraine.
Yes.
In the history of the world, Ukraine is the most respected country for you.
We weren't talking about in the history of the world. I took it as a today. I want Ukraine.
He
But
wants
there are
Ukraine.
countries that have done crazier things.
Like what?
Japan was pretty good. Tiny
No,
place.
but that's back in the day.
They
That's back in the
expanded-
day.
But it's still the same country.
To be
No.
fair, it was before.
And also they got butt fucked in their own way. Like, and they didn't hold up to the butt fucking that well. Like as you
If you really want a country that's holding up to the butt fucking, I'll tell you what, Palestine's up there.
Or Palestine should be pretty high
That's
up
fair.
there. I mean,
I'm not
Because they're
gonna
really getting butt fucked.
I'm not gonna
Dude.
get political here.
And you fucker, mate. You're a fucker, mate.
You know,
Yeah.
today there was supposed to be an Israel versus Palestine football game. And they
Oh, yeah, it got
postponed and he got postponed it because too many players just couldn't play
yeah, of course.
in Palestine.
Oh,
It's
no.
a bit unfair.
Yeah, bro. It's just
Okay, moving swiftly on.
it's so sad.
I'm sorry about that. Your metric is dog shit.
No. Oh,
You know what? I respect it. It's what he
Thank
feels.
you. Thank you. Bro, I'm an emotional
You
guy.
can't
I
just
went
say
off
it's what he
emotions.
feels respected. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense.
Bro, you put
I-
US third. You put
Maybe-
Yeah, and I
the
can
US of
back
A globally
And
third.
I can back it.
I honestly,
Fuck is your
can,
metric?
I can back my ranking as well.
I think everyone else here has a backable ranking, except for you.
Okay,
Donkey
what
ass.
what was the other one that was a bit like shocking to hear? I think Batia's was okay, other than Ukraine.
Egypt.
No, I think Egypt.
Not bad.
That's Egypt.
Egypt's a
Yeah.
bit of a surprising one.
Egypt
A
is less
rogue
shocking
one.
than Ukraine, to be fair.
It is definitely. That's why we're going second here.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Egypt,
Yeah,
and then we
that was
can come back to your donkey
Donkey
ass.
Let's go to Bat's entire ranking. Let's like hear all of it.
Yeah.
What was it again?
My third one was Egypt, second was Australia, and then first one Singapore. So I didn't give this much thought, but it was just based on like memories and experiences and like each country, you know, like
That's
for
fair.
holiday stuff. And I enjoyed my time a lot in Egypt. I saw a lot of stuff there. I went into a pyramid, cruised on the River Nile, you know, rode some camels there. It's quite fun. Yeah.
That is
But
sick.
You're quite a well-traveled person.
Mhm.
So what about Egypt was like standing out
I
so
don't
much?
know. Like, because I was like 7 when I when I
That's
went for
crazy.
holiday in Egypt, and
I
That's
mean,
like it just
I feel like there's nostalgia
stuck with
element
me,
there.
you know, like seeing the hieroglyphs on the walls and the ceilings and all the drawings and the paintings. Yeah, it's just
That is really cool.
cool stuff there.
To be
And
fair,
then-
if you remember it so well from like 7, it probably had to be pretty high up, you know.
It was
guess so.
It was a beautiful holiday.
Yeah.
And then I was debating between like Europe. So I visited Europe when I was like 13, 14. But I feel like it's not as special. Like it is special, but it's not as memorable as Egypt.
Like no single country in Europe really stands out as much as like a country like Egypt would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to me. Am I just gonna explain the rest of my rankings?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Second, Australia, obviously, because I study in Australia, so a lot of memories there. Maybe a bit biased.
For sure. That's how it works.
Yeah. And also Australia has so many different states, right? Like it's so easy to travel from like one state to another.
Yeah.
And like each state is like kind of different from the other states. Yeah. And then first one would be Singapore. Because I live here. Friends and family, food is great. Singapore.
Actually, bet like you're the first. Actually, other than Sahil, you're the first like other person we've had on the podcast. Like, and you also study overseas. So, like, are you gonna stay in Australia past your degree, or are you gonna come back to Singapore?
The plan is to come back.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why SG stopped, lah.
Sorry?
That's why SG stopped.
Mm.
Fair.
Yeah. What do you mean?
We'll see.
No, the plan is to come back.
I hope so. Please do.
It's just a cry for help.
He's on the ropes.
Good God.
Batia left me. Right, he's gone. You're like gone most of the time. He's giving
Yeah.
something to look forward to.
3 more years.
Yeah, 3 more years.
Eh,
Anyway,
bye bye. Okay,
Very-
Barath, what was your metric? Because there's one controversial one there.
I mean, I think none of y'all had UK, is it?
Yeah,
Did
Yeah.
anyone have UK?
Yeah.
no one had UK.
Okay. So for me, actually, I think purely because I'm not someone who has traveled to a lot of places. So mine is purely in terms of where I would think I would want to settle. Like that's my, I guess, criteria to rank. And third, okay, so I kind of had these three like sort of in my head. So it's more of like in terms of the arrangement for these three. UK is more of because I feel like in terms of the media that I consume, I consume a lot of like UK based media, like like UK YouTubers, UK even like relativists with the UK politics, like somewhat I kind of know what's going on. Like it just appears on my feed sometimes read the news. Quite interesting. So I would say it's third, plus also football, like that's quite a big thing. Imagine you're going to get to watch every game. That'd be pretty sick. Second, I think I put Australia. That's because I think I know quite a lot of people in Australia. Like my brother's studying in Australia, and even my mom went there recently, and she was talking about how it's actually looks like a pretty sick place to stay. I have no idea, honestly, but this is purely based on what she's been telling me, how my brother's been telling me, and in terms of things I've been reading up, like how they have like a minimum wage policy and stuff, which is honestly pretty sick. Like especially if you consider my metrics about like where you want to migrate, or where we want to settle down, And first is Singapore. I mean, can't go wrong, lah. If you've been in the trenches in Singapore with this fucking stressful ass education system, like you leave it, it's just like just stay lah, bro. Come on.
So you want to put your kids through the same shit.
Sometimes you gotta put themselves in situations where they're not comfortable.
Nah.
I'd say mine and
No, that's
mine
a
in
good
the
one.
last episode. Nah, mine in the
No,
last
that was a
episode
good
I think
one.
was better.
Mate, that one was quite clean. That was
What
quite
are we
clean.
done?
I literally
What are the
I just
defense?
had to.
Everyone go
Yes.
back and watch the previous episode. Tell us which
Yeah.
one was better.
Yeah.
And we also need to
In the
factor in.
comments.
I played off what Bat was saying in that one. That's why I think it was a
Bro, I literally
subtle
didn't
one.
have to answer your question with anything apart from that sentence. They just said.
That
So I'll
is-
say I played it off better.
That is also true. You kind of threw it to him. You kind of did a little,
There's an alley-oop there.
Yep.
To me.
Alright, who's next?
All right,
Rahman?
me next. So I based mine on primarily probably on livability and there's probably also a few other factors that come into play, but livability was like the prime one. And then, you add in a few points for like proximity to other interesting countries for, like lifestyle beauty, like the lay of the land sort of thing. And then for like, just the impact that the country has had on the world. So that's why I put US as third. I think US
Would you put US
It's
that
good.
high for livability, like in general, like the
I would put US
state of
pretty high for
things?
livability. Yeah, well, because I mean, there's a few things, right? First of all, like I still think that in terms of like making something of yourself as an immigrant, there really is no other place like the US. Like there's very few other countries that you can enter and then just um really have the resources to be able to create something really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I think the US is pretty high up for I mean not for that reason, but I think that is one of the reasons. A big reason for me is that because the US has a state system and the states are so diverse, if you don't like one state, you can just go to another state. Um, the lay of the land is so diverse. You can be in a desert, you can be in the mountains, you can be by a lake, you know,
Fair.
you can live in pretty much any terrain apart from maybe like the tropics. And even for that, like South America is really close by if you wanted to be there, for like a summer or something. You could be in South America quite easily. Um, also, I think, sorry.
No, nothing.
Also, I think the with the US, like, I mean, it's just there's like it's such an icon in terms of like entertainment and pop culture. Like being in the vicinity, I think would be a quite nice thing. Um,
Okay.
like living in the cities that you saw like growing up, like living in New York, living in Silicon Valley, living in all these like major capitals of the world. I think that would be quite a cool thing that I would want to experience. New Zealand, I put up there just because I just feel like it's so beautiful. Like I had to
Yeah.
put it up there. I feel like I have a special relationship with New Zealand. Like I was there when I was a kid, and like similar to that, I enjoyed myself so much there. And the government is strong. I think it's sparsely populated enough that you don't feel like the hustle and bustle of city life, but you can also be in like a relatively well maintained um country. And then yeah, Singapore's on top lah, because same thing as everyone else. It's really like a really good place. Like you have to admit,
But
Singapore's a really good place to be in.
but Aman, if New Zealand's second, and like obviously not to equate the places, but also kind of to equate the places. New Zealand is second. Why isn't Australia on your list? Out of curiosity.
Um, I find Australia. Well, I just find that when I visited Australia, I didn't feel as like enthralled with the natural beauty. And okay, like maybe a big thing for me is also like Lord of the Rings was shot in New Zealand. I don't know why. That's like for some reason that's in my head lah. But
Uh,
but 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 Australia for me just felt um like just a few cities. I didn't really experience a lot of Australia. I've been to Sydney. I don't think I've been to Melbourne. I've been to Sydney and like Western Australia, like Perth and down the Margaret River. So I can't say that much about living in like Melbourne and you know um like more like eastern places.
mm,
Um, but yeah, so I don't think I can answer your question with a very good response.
fair.
It's just a personal thing. Like I just prefer New Zealand. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rooney, moving on to yours.
Yeah, so just to recap, I've got the US in third, I've got Singapore in second, and I've got Australia to be top. US wise, I've never been, just to clarify with everyone, never been to the US.
Lucky
But
you.
just because of how much like content I consume from the US and how commercial they are, like almost everything that I watch and I listen to and I read or whatever it is coming from the US. And for that, it holds so much like place in my personality and what I've grown up to be. And it's not like a coincidence that, I mean, obviously there's a lot of control of like the media and whatever it is coming from there. And there's a lot of like reasons why a lot of what we see is from there. It's just the way it's been established. But it still is no coincidence that a lot of what has shaped me has come from that one place. And I think it's like, it'd be harsh not to put it in my top three, even though I haven't been. Obviously, shootings, not great. Racism, not great.
That's
Mm.
But
controversial, those two things to
those
say
are
they're
not
not
part of
great.
my metrics. Yeah, racism and shootings, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But me, I stand by my opinions. I have strong opinions. So shootings and racism, no. It's a no for
Not
me.
your thing. Fair.
Yeah. Which is why it's third, to be honest. Like honestly, I
Mhm.
could have pushed it higher. But yeah. I think
I don't know,
maybe
I feel
later in our top. Yeah.
I feel
Sorry.
like the US is just one of those places where like in my impression of things, like you could just go there and make something out of yourself from nothing, basically. You know, it's
So
not like
that's
Singapore where like the path is relatively
yeah.
set. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
you kind of know the avenues that you can go down. Like if I think of myself moving to the US, it feels like, you know, like anything's a possibility there. Just
Yeah.
because it's the hub of so many things. You
Yeah.
know, you have like financial hub in New York, you have the tech hub in Silicon Valley, you have like entertainment hub in Hollywood. You know, you have like all these different avenues concentrated in one location where like you could just be at the right place at the right time, and like amazing opportunities could reasonably find you. And just being in the vicinity of those things, I think is like quite a good thing that the US has. Of course, like Arun said, there's a lot of horrible things as well. Governance could be a lot better.
Healthcare could be so much better.
Healthcare could be a lot better. Just political
But
stability in general, you know.
I'm not
But to be
looking at
fair,
that.
it's also like we when we were coming up with topics and stuff, we were talking about top three countries, and sort of the eminent first thought is always the US, and it's quite notable that that would be like it's not in my top three, but it's the first thing that my mind went to the US. I've been once, but I haven't lived there. Didn't think UK, didn't think Singapore, didn't think Australia, New Zealand, all these. Those are like thoughts afterwards. The first thought that comes to mind is always the US.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what country broached my top three but didn't quite make it is Netherlands.
Ooh,
Or like generally maybe like Scandinavia area plus like, you know, a little bit south from that. But yeah, I think being in, I mean, first of all, we were in Amsterdam, right? Me and Batia. And I
Yeah.
loved Amsterdam. Like we were there for a short time. It was just like maybe a few days, right? Maybe just a bit less than a week. Dude, it really has nothing to do with the weed. Like it has nothing to do with
No. I'm not. I'm
access to
not thinking
drugs
about
or
the.
anything.
I'm not thinking about the weed. I'm thinking about the company that we had in Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, no, that was a fun time. That was a fun time. No, it just
That's
it
why
was such
Ukraine is so
an
high up for me.
yeah. The company is good.
Yeah, it was great.
Your actual company as well.
Yeah,
Your platoon and your company.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. No,
Anyways,
I would have put the Netherlands up there.
Fair.
I would put the Netherlands up there. Yeah. If I go to Scandinavia, then maybe I could put Scandinavia up there, but
Fair.
it's a possibility.
Harun, one of the
Yeah,
things
too
that's
cold.
like interesting for yours is like Australia over Singapore.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was the one that I wanted to explain. So Singapore goes without saying why it's in the top three, right? For me, this is where I'd want to raise my kids. I know it's tough. I know there's so much wrong with it, but it's flawed in such a beautiful way, you know? I think it's such a great country.
It's a
in
weird
that
thing
way.
to say.
That's the
It
Peter
is.
Drury of.
It's a bit of a strange thing to say.
It's got like there's so much right with it, but there is so much like wrong as well. But the stuff that's wrong is like just stuff you want to be here and you're like, I can fix you. You know, it's that kind of wrong. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
For like
That's
for a
not
I know I
video
can't
for,
actually fix it, but
for like anyone watching the video,
that's
also
the vibe
like
for me.
you know like Harun's being like deep and like kind of like so like I don't know profound when he like
solemn.
busts out the
Oh yeah.
Do this?
yeah.
Have I done that before?
Bro, you were doing that as you were speaking throughout.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
No,
But
but
yeah, go
okay.
on.
Yeah, so Singapore, crazy things that stand out to me. Obviously, I think pretty well-run country for the most part. So livability for me is very high here. I think another thing that I take for granted about Singapore is the fact that it helps me to not take for granted the beauty of other countries. Like I feel like if I lived in a country that was inherently very beautiful, I would value, things like holidays and stuff a bit less.
Mm.
I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah. Because I feel like every time I go to, like, even when I go to JB, honestly, like I get like this feeling because over there it's not so like high rise. Like just being able to see a lot of the sky at one point of time for me is like I appreciate something like that. And it's like a bit gloomy to say because it's like almost saying like I don't like the stuff I live in. But I love our city skyline. I love being in the city in here in Singapore. I think it's so beautifully constructed. And I think the
Rocher
architecture
flyover, bro.
is unbelievable. Yeah, Rocher flyover. But the architecture here, I think is absolutely brilliant. So that's tip top for me. But the reason I put Australia over is because, like, firstly, I'm not a very well traveled guy. Like, I've been to like maybe I can probably count on like two hands, maybe even less. But it's a lot of like
Still reasonable.
UK.
That's still reasonably traveled. That's
Okay,
Good.
in fact,
Fair.
if I tell you what the countries are, you'll be like, okay, like I'm gonna count Malaysia as one. It's like
Fair.
Thailand, Australia, Sri Lanka, um, England, France, Hong Kong. Bonjour. I think that's it.
Fair.
So honestly, like in terms
It's a
of,
decent spread. It's a decent spread.
I
It
don't
is. There's
think it's
variety
that much
there.
spread. I don't think there's that much variety, to be honest.
I mean, it's not the most, but it's
It's
a
a lot of
decent
Asia.
spread.
Okay, but anyway, sorry.
If
sorry
I went
to-
to a buffet and I saw that spread,
You'll be okay.
I'd
Yeah,
say okay.
fair.
I'd
That's
say okay.
that's 3 continents.
That's fair. You can't just go off continents, I feel.
But that's the best way to gauge spread, no?
No, but like for example, I did England and France instead of the full Europe experience, for example. So I didn't get to
Fair.
see like the real variety like in Greece and like Scandinavian countries and stuff like that. So in terms
Fair.
of natural beauty, I don't really get to see much. So when I went to Australia and like it was the most recent time I went and like
Yeah.
I met up with Bet and I met up with like my extended family there. And we went on like a small trip to like this tiny like town area and there's a mountain there and it's like honestly the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And honestly, if some of y'all go there, y'all be like, what's he on about? It's just okay. But for me, I've never seen something like that beautiful before. And I
Yeah.
think she'll be able to like vouch for how like amazed I was when I was there. Because like every time I just turn around, I'd just be smiling about something. Like
Touch snow.
and the reason we went was because I'd never seen snow in my life before. So we wanted to like give me a chance to see snow. And then there was like this moment where we were like, oh shit, because I went there just before like winter started or just at the start. So we were a bit worried there wouldn't be snow. So we'd already gone there. And then there was reports that maybe there wouldn't be snow, and then we were like, oh shit. Then I said, all I gotta see is like a tiny little mountain somewhere. That's all. That's all I care about. And then we went up to the top of this mountain and there was like snow all over the place. And it's like melting snow. It's not even like nice snow. I was just having the time of my life, man. Like it was just so beautiful. And like that little town we went to was like such a like understated place. So like easygoing, relaxed people. The people were great there. The food was unbelievable. Like I didn't even expect the food to be that good. But best steaks I had in my life. Like best like pies I've had in my life. It was just such a like brilliant experience for me. So I got to see that. And then I got to see like Melbourne City, which I really loved as well. And like over the years, a country that I have visited more, not maybe as much as Sri Lanka, but up there is probably Australia, just because we have family there. And I think what Bet said about like each of the states having something so different. And also like the fact that, I go from this city that I really like, Melbourne City, and we drive like 4 hours out and there's this like unbelievable like natural range of mountains or like whatever it is. That to me was like it took me aback, and I really experienced like I really loved it. And I think going forward, even if I see places that are more beautiful, I think that being my first like real experience in a place like that would probably hold quite dear to my heart. So that is why Australia is right at the top.
That's fair.
That was beautiful.
That's good.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. I love
No,
the
we should
poetry of it all.
we can clip that and then we can sell it to the Australian government.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. A little brown boy saying it as well.
Yeah, visit Australia.
Yeah.
I would say this brown boy isn't very little, but fair enough.
No, you know
But
what?
they can't tell. They can't tell from the podcast. Yes, if I go down like this,
They all
we're
the same
height.
size.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I loved about Australia? I was there. Was I there last year? No, I was there this year.
Perth was this year,
Honestly, I
right?
can't remember. Perth
Yeah, Perth was
must have
this
been
year.
this year. Yeah,
Yeah, it was this
I have
year.
no track of time anymore. So I was in Perth.
Yeah.
I was in Perth over the summer, lah. And what I loved about it was just the drivers, because we were driving everywhere, right? Mate, the drivers are so nice. Like
That is another thing. When I was
they would
driving around
slow
Melbourne-
down to give me way. They would slow
Yeah.
down to let me through so I could make the exit that I clearly was gonna miss. That was amazing.
Not a single moment of road rage I think I had when I was there.
Yeah.
Not once. Not even like a bit of like, not even like a. That's it.
I think everyone was so chill,
It was great.
so nice. That was great.
Was-
And
what was
Margaret
some
River,
of- Go for it.
if we do the boys trip, we should go to Margaret River. I think that's like that's where I would put it up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the very southern tip of Perth. Like you go all the way down from Perth, you draw a straight line down from Margaret River. From Perth is Margaret River. And it's like wine country. It's it's very. I mean, it's. Well, I can't even explain. Man. It's beautiful. So Margaret River, the town itself, is just this quaint little town, but you have like the Cape. You have the Cape. You have the lighthouse all the way to the west. The hiking spots are beautiful. It overlooks the ocean. The cliffs are there. I think surfing is great there. We went there at the time of the year that like surfing was good, but surfing then in the summer is great. I mean, it's just a beautiful place. So
It's good.
when y'all are free, we do Margaret River. And Harun
Oh,
can
I'd
be our
love to.
driver. Harun can be our driver. We go wine tasting all the way.
Yeah, designated driver.
Let's go,
Designated
baby.
driver, bro.
Yeah,
No,
that's
so
why
like how?
that was the main plan after all, befriending a Muslim, wasn't it?
Yeah, designated driver,
Designated
bro.
driver.
To be fair, we tried other Muslims as well. It's just that
Oh yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't. Yeah, it didn't turn
It
out the
didn't fit
same
the
way.
other bills, It didn't
Yeah.
fit
Yeah,
okay.
none were
And
none
like
were
also,
accommodating the requirements.
yeah, designated driver. I don't know so much sometimes.
All right, thanks.
He's a good
Thanks.
driver as far as designations go.
Thanks.
No, I'm speaking about other people that we might have.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I don't like
Anyway,
that.
let's move
Podcast.
swiftly on.
I was thinking, and this is completely a digression, but today I was looking through the MFA website, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website, and I was just thinking because they have like an application open for an internship. So I was thinking about applying for next year internship at MFA. I don't know why. Something I think over this whole like Israel-Palestine conflict thing, right? I've just been thinking a lot more about maybe getting into like diplomacy and like foreign relations.
I
A
think
lot
it'd be
more.
really interesting to understand what's really going on, like
Yeah.
because it's so much speculation from our part, right? Like even like not even like outside of Singapore, but just in what we do in response to what's happening outside of Singapore. Like we
Yeah,
don't really
I
understand the nuances of what we do and why we do certain things.
I do think that if I were to be in any aspect of the government, like generally speaking, I'm not a government kind of guy. Like I wouldn't work in the public sector. But if there was one sector that I would work in, it would be MFA. Just so like you can figure out like not just what Singapore does in response to those things, but what are the actual problems like at the ground level that these countries are facing. And a country like Singapore is in a very unique position because we have good relations with basically every country we come into contact with, or at least it's a large part of our sort of like our core tenets as a small nation to be friendly with all our neighbors, to make sure that we have good relations with the superpowers, whether they're China, whether they're Russia, whether they're the US, and we're very like I don't know if you all listen to Pritam and I can't remember who was the one who gave the PAP speech on the Israel-Palestine conflict, but um like it was very clear to me that a big part of Singapore's position is like we do what we feel is right. We support actions that we feel are right. But despite like maybe not supporting your action, we can still support your country. So like I like the stance that the government takes with regard to like foreign relations. So they condemned the Hamas attacks very quickly, but they also condemned what Israel was doing in response to the Hamas attacks, which is something that the US never did, right? Like the US is still backing Israel so heavily, despite like you can tell that the Biden, the administration are trying to ease up on it and say like, yeah, guys, can you all just stop, bombing them, you know? So like I was just thinking like I don't know if I suddenly like worked in MFA or something, maybe there's some actual impact that I could do as an individual to like come to some sort of agreement between countries in the Middle East or countries that are at war.
What if you absolutely fucked it up? What if like, given like how like tense things are anyways, you just went in and you just fucked it up even more?
Then I'd have a story to tell. Good story. Hey guys.
True. And if he gets on the news, bro, imagine the podcast.
Bro, imagine we all have to re-enlist because this guy started World War III.
Oh, come on.
Bro, on. I will end myself. I will especially if he's the one who caused World War III, I'll fucking shoot myself.
And it wasn't anything I did as well. It was just like me shaking Netanyahu's hand and like just smiling a bit too much. Like just being a bit happy.
Bro,
why is bro smiling like that?
Yeah. Why is Singapore so happy? Huh?
If that's the case, then he did his job as Op4 well, bro. Because he just played the enemy perfectly.
Played the enemy every
day. He just was the enemy.
Bro, that's bars. That's bars.
Yeah.
That should be a pop culture moment right there.
All right.
Pop culture moment is when Peter Drury said, Rodri planted it.
Okay. With that, I think Bet's just gonna have a little rest now, so we can all say bye to.
All right.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you
bye.
for coming
Thanks
on,
for
Ben.
being.
See ya.
Thanks for being on.
Really appreciate that you being on.
See you Saturday.
See you.
I'll
Barak,
see you
come
next
again.
year. Bye bye.
Yeah, Saturday morning.
All
Thanks.
right.
Yeah, can.
Hey, so the whole lot in, huh?
Hold on. And
Saturday morning. Where are we going? Huh?
I don't know. We can discuss once we're off the podcast.
No, because this connects to our next topic.
Oh, and what is that topic?
Top 3 cuisines.
Huh?
Is that not the next topic?
No,
No,
the crazy
bro.
thing was, Mattia was just in the moment of transitioning to pop culture icons.
Oh, you're a pop culture icon.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I zoned out for a second. I zoned out for a second.
pop culture moment.
I thought you were going cuisine. I'm sorry.
No, hey.
No, because I wrote down cuisines. I didn't write down pop culture. I haven't really
We can do
thought about
cuisines.
it.
I think
We
that's
can do
pretty cool.
cuisines. Cuisines,
we
I
can do
think. Yeah. Okay.
Cuisines. I think
That
I've
brings
got a
us
few.
to, yeah. What, Harun, Saturday morning, you've got the reins. What are the top 3 cuisines you'd want to be eating on a Saturday?
Okay, I didn't know we were going to be talking about breakfast. All right,
Okay, we're not
It
talking
didn't
about
have to
breakfast. We're just
breakfast. It
talking.
didn't have to
Yeah,
breakfast.
it doesn't
I'm
have
just
to
going
be
to be talking about
breakfast.
cuisine. All right,
Okay.
here's my top 3. Number 3, Chinese.
Contra-
Okay.
controversial.
Number 3, Chinese.
Controversial. Okay.
Sri Lankan.
Sri Lanka.
Number 2,
Controversial
Sri Lankan.
again.
And number 1, this is the most controversial, I feel. American food / Westernish food.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro,
Wow,
this,
wow, we were.
this might be the
Wow, wow,
worst
we-
list I've heard in my life.
Wow, wow, we were.
Y'all know I enjoy my food. So this
Let's
is,
go in a
Wow,
round.
wow, we were.
let's go around.
Barf.
For me, yeah.
It's barf.
I think my third would probably be like Western cuisine. We're not doing breakfast, right? Now I'm
Nah,
just
nah,
doing
nah,
off the cuff.
Cuisine.
I think my third would probably be Western. The second gotta pick up the homeland, bro. Indian cuisine.
Yeah,
The
baby.
second. And first, I don't know. I quite like. I think it's more of a personal thing. I really like Thai cuisine. It's first for me.
Bro,
I love
big.
Thai.
Huge
Yeah,
shout.
Okay, shall I put mine up?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Now, I couldn't decide on my third, so I had to make it a tie.
Okay.
Okay, if I'm allowed to do that. It's a tie between Italian and French.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay, so that's the Western for me. Second place, hands up, Japanese.
Big.
Nice.
Japanese. And first, of course, I had to go with Indian as well. I had to do it.
Big up.
I had to do it.
Big up.
Yeah.
All right. Mine actually fairly similar list to some that have been mentioned. Third place, Italian.
Yep, saw that coming.
Yeah, I can't do what Harun did and Barath did in American. Second place, I went Thai food. And first place, the motherland, Indian food.
Motherland.
Indeed. Yeah.
Okay, now can we explain the Indian? Because 3 out of 3 Indian boys
Yeah.
have said Indian food on top.
Bro,
I said it second, to be fair.
I don't think it has to.
But it's close.
There's variety. It's not just the thing is, right? Like we've got this nuanced understanding of Indian food because we are from the motherland. So
That's true.
if the average person in the UK per se, because the UK are big on their like Indian food and Indian takeaway and stuff. For them, mostly it's like butter chicken, chicken tikka masala, stuff like that.
So like North Indian, right? Okay, so are we
Exactly.
talking North Indian, South Indian? When you say Indian cuisine, what are we talking about?
Okay,
Oh,
the
do
thing
we
is
have-
the reason I go Indian is because I encapsulate all
Because
of
you
it.
can do North.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick,
Ooh, I go north. I'm Punjabi, so like has to be north for me.
I think
That's-
it's fair. I think
That's
North Indian.
that's
no,
mother.
it's fair, lah. It is fair.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably go north as well. Yeah.
Seriously, going North as well?
We've converted the South
I
Indian.
think it's very close. No, okay, but my
Wow.
rationale is it's not something that you guys would think. I think. Are we gonna go into rationale now? Or
Of course, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go in the rationale. We
Oh,
done
then
said it
go.
already. Yeah.
okay. No, so when I say okay, so with regards to the whole Indian thing, I think for South Indian cuisine, right, mainly it's mostly my family food, lah, right? Because if you go up, you wouldn't eat what we eat at home, right? So if you go out for Indian food, it's usually like North Indian food. The issue I have with South Indian food is just there's just too much carbs. Like I just can't get protein. Like it's so hard. Like this is purely from like a dietary composition perspective. Like it's just so hard. Imagine I go to the
You can
gym
get
and I come
protein.
back. Of course you can, but compared to North Indian food,
No, and no, it's so carb heavy. It's
Wait, but
really
why
it is
is
very
North?
carb heavy.
I mean, that's just a proportion issue, right? Like you can just take less rice and take more meat.
No, but it's not about rice. It's not about rice. Let's say South Indian food. You look at your like dosa, your puri, dosa, idli, these kind of things. They're just so
Yeah.
carb heavy, and I mean it's like backed up by stats, bro. Indians have like high risk of like all this diabetes, like heart problems, everything.
It's
It's
worth
all
it, though.
just
It's worth it,
like
though.
it's you can say that. I mean,
It's worth it.
I agree it's worth. But I'm just saying statistically,
See,
like, it does back up my point that it's carb heavy.
Yeah, the problem is Karus is okay. Also, shout out to Karus, best fucking
out.
food
Big
in
shout
the
out to
world,
Karus.
bro.
Big
Huge
shout
shout
out
out
to
to
Karus.
Karus. Karus, if you
We're
can
not
sponsor the
sponsored.
podcast,
We are not sponsored,
please.
but
Yeah, if they can sponsor the podcast, I'd happily eat that for the rest of my life. But
Honestly,
Karus, yeah,
this is an offer to Karus. If you all sponsor the podcast, we will eat Karus during every episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
Every single one we'll be eating.
We'd
Karus.
have a bag.
if-
We'd put Karus up, like a bag or something,
Yeah.
up on screen. We'd have presented by Karus at the start. And we'd all be eating Karus the entire time.
100%.
Karus, we can also speak about business expansion in the UK. We got an Australian correspondent. We got you sorted. We got you covered. But like the thing with Karus is right. Like obviously, like you get like a protein there, you get that protein fix, and that's South Indian food. But like it's not like representative of like most South Indian meals. I feel like what Brao said, most of them are like quite like carb heavy or like there's a lot like dosas and stuff like that.
And I guess like South Indian food uses lentils a lot when it comes to
coriander
That's-
as well.
Yeah.
To be fair, lentils are big in North Indian cuisine as well. It's just less popular and like
I guess
Yeah.
so. Like,
Yeah.
But do you guys think there's also that aspect of okay, for me, I think there is. It's just because I've had it so much that at some point I'm just a bit sick of it. Like if I had Thai food every day, it could drop a lot lower on my list as well. That kind of thing. Or like if you had Italian for Batia and
I'm actually like a
Aman.
creature of habit. So like if I like something, I will eat it every day.
yeah.
You know, when I was in primary school, I think between
Mee soto.
P1 and P4, I only ate mee soto from the Malay stall every single day. Like every single day, every single meal, in fact. I would not eat anything other than the mee soto, and then I would go back with my empty bowl and double up on the soup. 60 cents, Temasek. Shout out. And then one day when I was in P4, I think they stopped selling mee soto and they switched it to mee rebus. Now I ate the mee rebus every day for the next 2 years. I only ate 2 dishes in my whole time in Temasek.
Didn't you hit the chicken cutlets from the
Yeah, but those are snacks. That's
okay,
not like a meal. You know, that's not a meal.
big chicken cutlets?
For me, I think also like
Fish cutlet. I went fish cutlet.
I think the repetition of food is like it means that because the thing is like what three of us Indians and like we are exposed to Indian food a lot. The fact that we still put it that high up there is just representative of the variety that there is in Indian food.
Yeah, that is also
And
true.
like yeah, exactly. For me, I think like
But,
if you ask my mom, she would think I don't like Indian food because she like knows that I prefer when she makes like you guys know what my mom cooks. She like cooks like
Yeah.
she chefs it up. She's wild.
She does.
But like the thing is that like she thinks that I don't like Indian food that much, but like it's still the best. It is the best. So yeah.
I'm actually in agreement with Barav here about like the repetition of eating and stuff. That's why like my top 3 tends to be stuff that I don't really eat that much, which is why it looks a bit absurd-ish. Yeah.
wait, is the food your mom cooks counted as Sri Lankan cuisine?
To some
Like-
extent.
like a
The thing
regular-
is, she doesn't cook that often anymore. Or like,
Or
and I feel like the very niche Sri Lankan food is not really something that's cooked in the house. Because she mostly does just like rice and dishes, right? And it's not like to do like really good Sri Lankan dishes or like iconic Sri Lankan dishes takes a shit ton of time. So I think there was one time all of y'all came for my birthday or something. That was like
Yeah.
a proper like her
mm.
her signature rice and curry Sri Lankan meal. And that takes like a day plus. So when
I have an
So
idea.
good, bro.
I have an idea for breakfast on Saturday.
okay.
Tekka market Sri Lankan food.
We've
I won't
spoken
go
about
to
this
Delhi,
before.
sia.
You've
I won't
spoken
go to
about this
Delhi also.
before.
Yeah, they're not bad, I guess. I don't mind.
What do you mean not
Like,
bad, dude? They're really good.
Wait, what time did it
It's a
open?
new Sri Lankan place that opened that's much better.
I would trust
Then there's
the Sri
Tikka Market Sri
Lankan's
Lankan
point of
food.
view.
Super expensive, but it's super expensive.
Wait, what are you saying? Have you tried the Tikka Market Sri Lankan one?
I have.
Really?
Yeah,
But it's so good.
it's good, but there's
Oh
Like
my
I
God.
put it up there with curries.
that's crazy.
I put it up there with curries.
My
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 God.
dad had a falling out, or my parents had a falling out with the fellow or something. I don't know what happened, but we haven't been going back there much because
Are you
there's a new
serious?
restaurant that's really good, like, phew, like better than some places in Sri Lanka.
So where do you want to go for Saturday breakfast?
We can
Wait,
talk about it. We can talk
Dude,
about it.
now that you mentioned it, I realized actually Indian food, right? If you want to eat good Indian food, it's so expensive. Like those good restaurants, they're actually
What do you
so
mean? When we go to
expensive.
like MTR and Madras Woodlands, it's like perfectly fine. I mean,
Um,
Karus is expensive because we get all the
Yeah,
condiments, right?
any like rice and curry kind of place is really expensive.
bro, honestly,
But
I
that's
wouldn't put
because we
MTR
double
really
up
up
on the
there, sia.
condiments.
No, and
But I
even
wouldn't put MTR up there, sia.
and even like naan
I put Madras up there.
or Madras is quite good.
I put
If
Madras up.
if we're going
No, but-
one of those, MTR is better than Madras, I think.
I
don't
think
think
for
Madras up there.
dosas, I'd put
I haven't been
Madras
to
up.
India.
MTR is good, bro. You guys should. Hey, if you guys are doing a Saturday breakfast, MTR is the place to go.
Didn't we go to MTR?
It would be very
Y'all went
crowded
with
on
Sahil,
Saturday.
I
though.
wasn't there.
Yeah, we went.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
I
no,
guess
Harun
so.
wasn't there. He was the only one who missed out.
Yeah.
no, as
Even
in,
Sahil
Rafael
was there,
saying as
bro.
if we all haven't gone, right?
And he's
Yeah.
not even here now.
I can't do them things, bro. I eat pasta and fried rice and a toasty every fucking day.
Toasty.
All right, so
Toasty.
maybe I can explain my top three now. Obviously, I've gone into a bit about Sri Lankan.
Yeah.
Chinese. Okay, to be honest, this is just where my head's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now,
Orange.
Chinese has been on my mind all the time.
Like what food though? Like dim
Like-
sum stuff? Or?
Like, there's a banh mi place, like KL banh mi place near my place.
Wait,
Which
I
is-
thought banh mi
Not
was.
Vietnamese banh mi, like banh mi, BANMEE. It's like noodles.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know, like not
My
the
knowledge is Chinese.
Vietnamese one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I was like confused.
And it's it's become a bit of a comfort food of mine. Like, I eat there a lot now because it's like fairly cheap and the food's just really good. And
Yeah.
like, because I don't get like much exposure to good Chinese food just because all of it's not halal.
Mm.
But like when we go to Malaysia and we've had like Din Tai Fung there, it's like, it blows my mind, dude. Like having like good dim sum and stuff that I never get access to anywhere else is
Yeah.
just fantastic.
Bro, Xiao Long Pao's bang, bro. So good.
Unbelievable.
So good.
Unbelievable. And like, I never get access to this kind of thing. So like when I actually did start eating it, it's like, it's always been on my mind. And like the various like mala, like Szechuan kind of spice meals, I love those. Like noodles, whether it's noodles, fried
Yeah.
chicken, that kind of thing. I love those as well. Yeah, I love me some good Chinese food.
But that's such a shame because that means your range is really quite limited. Like there are very few halal Chinese shops.
Mm.
It is. But that's why
Yeah.
a lot of what is making its way up to my top three tends to be stuff that I don't really get to experience so much. Because don't get me wrong, Japanese, Thai, even Korean,
Yeah.
Indian, obviously, like all these things ran through my mind and they were like up. Like even Malay food, really
Mm.
high up. But I had to put my foot down. Chose the three that,
Now I have to say, when it comes to Malay food, the quality of Malay food in Singapore has dropped. It's taken a nosedive.
it has. And I think I have to get in touch with the locals, the local Malays, and find out where I should be
No,
going to
mate,
get my Malay
mate.
food.
You know, for the last, I kid you not, for the last 5 years, maybe a little bit less than that, last 4 years, my family has been looking for good nasi lemak. And we just can't find nasi lemak that really, that really makes
Yeah.
the cut.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where I actually beg my parents to stop buying nasi lemak because they're constantly trying a new place to figure out where the good nasi lemak is. And it just wastes my Sunday lunch. It's a waste of a Sunday lunch.
Fair.
So I've just told them, like, they don't exist. There's no good nasi lemak place anymore. Shut it down. Stop trying.
Yeah.
Nasi Padang now you still can get, if you want to
It's
go like
fine.
maybe Haja
But
Maimuna or
it's-
something like that.
But it's a rarity. Like the thing is,
It's a rarity.
problem is volume versus quality. Because
Yeah.
when it comes to like halal food in Singapore, everyone like automatically just does Malay food. So there's just an
Yeah.
excess of like nasi padang, nasi lemak, those kind of stalls specifically.
Yeah.
So like, and some of them the quality control is just terrible.
I mean, it's
Like,
really
just
horrible. You know, there was one time I was eating, I can't remember which one it was, but I bought nasi padang from, I think it was somewhere around Geylang or maybe Joo area. And it was, I think it was somewhere in the east. So I bought the nasi padang and it came in the paper and in the brown paper wrapping, right? And so I opened it and I could see that you know, generally the wax paper holds the grease in relatively well, the oil relatively well. But so I could see some you know, it was damp, it was darkening on the bottom a little bit. So I was getting a bit suspicious. I opened it up and I moved the rice to the side, and the oil just drained into the middle. And it was, I kid you not, this thick a layer of oil. The bottom portion of the rice was drowning in oil, just all from the rendang gravy.
that is shocking.
All from the rendang gravy.
That is shocking.
Yeah. It's bad, bro. It's bad.
Okay.
It's bad.
So the reason I have American food as my number one is barbecue. That's it.
Hmm.
Because my favorite food in the world, hands down, never changed, is a good beef rib.
Like a Texas barbecue?
Like a Texas barbecue kind of beef rib. That to me, nothing can beat that. I absolutely love it. And like, again, it's something I don't really get to eat that often. And I'm counting like, I know steaks can be said to be like French here and there. But I'm
yeah,
also,
I wouldn't put steak on American.
if you do barbecue steaks, that's
No,
American.
that's
You barbecue-
if you barbecue it.
Let's say you do a reverse here. If you do anything, as long as you're involving a barbecue, I'd say it's pretty American.
I mean, it's an but that's not an American cuisine. It's a style of cooking.
I
You know what I mean?
guess. I
It's like
guess.
saying when you Juliet something. It's like, is that the right way of saying it? Juliet? Yeah. It's
Isn't
like,
that a way of cutting.
yeah, it's a way of cutting. It's like a way of cooking something. It's not a cuisine. Like if you tell me American cuisine, I'm thinking like cheeseburgers. I'm thinking like, you know, like Louisiana crawfish boil. You know, that sort of thing is like
Yeah, wait.
American cuisine.
Okay, wait. Boiler is American cuisine.
Boiler is American cuisine. I agree.
Bang. Boiler is unbelievable. Bang. Okay.
I agree. But the
That's
reason
a, that's
I
a
didn't
good
put-
counterpoint.
now
Boiler's
the
a
reason
great
no the reason I
counterpoint.
didn't put boiler up there is because that's a restaurant. I can't
No.
guarantee that every Louisiana boil that I go to will be an amazing experience.
That is
Because
true.
boiler they put in crab, they put in prawn, they put in lobster, which is not something that's traditional to Louisiana boil.
Fair. But
It's only a crawfish boil.
for what I have been exposed to, I love it.
Yeah.
And
Wait, so
That's fair.
So what is your contemplation of American cuisine then?
what do you mean? Like,
Is it
what
barbecued things?
it's barbecue, it's burgers as well. Because for me, like, comfort food is burgers.
And when you say
Fair.
barbecue, do you mean like barbecue sauce, or do you mean barbecue as in the technique of barbecuing something,
No,
putting
like,
something
like,
on a fire?
I think a good old American barbecue. What are you thinking? Like ribs. You're thinking like steaks. You're thinking like hot dogs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like steak as in like Texas style barbecue, where you like, you know, you drown it, or like a smoked brisket kind of barbecue.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm necessarily thinking like, you know, like beers on the lawn with the grill open as an American cuisine.
Okay.
But yeah, I would think American is like classic like cheeseburgers. That's like a
But
classic.
let's say if I
Or
said
like
my
beef
favorite-
pastrami sandwich, you know.
Okay, yeah. But if my favorite foods were burgers, ribs, like brisket, that kind of thing, you'd point towards
Yeah, you're in
American.
American territory.
I was
You're in
I was
American
I was outraged at first, but Harun's explained it well, to be fair. Like
Yeah.
that all makes sense.
The thing is, in terms of like actual flavors and use of spices and complexity of food, there's absolutely no doubt that Americans should not be anywhere near your top three. Absolutely not. Because they're using like fairly common spices. It's a
Mm.
flavor that's like very easy to take. Like Indian food, for me, if we were going just purely flavors, would easily be number one.
Yeah.
Because you like the shit they've got to be putting crack in Indian food,
Yeah.
the way it is, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, just had to caveat the whole thing. But yeah, I thought it'd
To be
be
fair-
a bit more interesting.
To be fair, something that's like admirable and like kind of like it's just good about what the place we live in is like most of the places that came to mind when I was like thinking like good cuisine Asian. You've got Japan up there. You've got Korea. You've got Vietnam, Thailand. Obviously, Barack and I have said already. Even like all the subcontinental like places. Like Harun went for Sri Lanka. Obviously, the other three of us went for India. But you can go like Pakistan,
You
Bangladesh,
go Pakistan,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nepal.
No, realistically, there is no miss in Asia. I can't think of a miss.
So
Mm,
What's the miss?
has anyone tried Filipino food? I
I
haven't,
think
tried
my
it.
palate,
Chicken,
my palate-
shit, what is it?
Enjoy.
Chicken
Jollibee?
adobo, chicken adobo.
chicken.
Oh.
I think for my palate, Filipino food is a miss. And
It's a bit sweet for my
I
my
hope-
taste lah.
It's just whether you like Jollibee or not, right?
Yeah, I was
Dude,
just
wait,
about to
if
say
we
so
Jollibee, bro.
fucked up, man.
if we get on Filipino sides, right? You know how many followers and subscribers we have?
I mean, we love the
Really?
Philippines. We love the
I do
one
love
of my top holidays I've ever had, Boracay, which arguably is not a great, you know. Now that I think
Metric.
about it,
My sister loved Philippines.
I love the Philippines as
She was
well.
working there. She didn't really love it.
By virtue of working lah, not by virtue of Philippines.
No, I think it was by virtue of Philippines.
Well, she just didn't like Philippines.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know. I so badly want to get on the Filipinos' good side, yeah.
No, honestly speaking, I think Filipino food has good ranking. It's just there's not a lot of exposure for it.
I
fair.
agree. And I mean,
I think if there was
for me-
more,
for
that
me,
would
definitely
be-
not, because it's like 80-90% pork.
Yeah.
Oh.
But like that sweet notes, that they have too much sweet notes in their food, I feel.
A lot of sweetness.
Yeah,
a lot
and
of
that
sweetness in
for
the
me,
Filipino.
you can't really go for that.
Okay, but still, that's a preference thing because the Chinese have a lot of sweet as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
true.
it's
Hey,
a flavor
Chinese,
profile issue,
Chinese
but-
food was a great shout, by the way, Harun. That was a great shout.
yeah. But like, if we think of what's in Asia, right? Like China, big hit.
Mhm.
India, big hit. Let's say like Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Philippines,
People say
yeah.
Malaysian food is great as well.
Malaysian food.
Yeah.
Malaysian food. I don't know. I don't know about all the smaller ones though. Like we talk about like Cambodia. I can't remember what
No,
the
like Malaysia would be like,
was what.
you know, your char kway teow and stuff like that. I think,
Yeah, but I'm talking about like all the smaller sort of
yeah.
less
Maybe
less
they
known.
could be misses.
Brunei, Laos, places like that. We don't really know
Yeah.
much.
I can't say for certain. I'm sure they, but I would be hard pressed to think that they would have any misses. Because like
Also,
it's all
because
influenced
it's all-
by
Yeah, it's always regional, right? So like
Yeah.
that region in general, like if we like Vietnamese and Thai food, then I would imagine like those kind of like surrounding countries won't be that different or that different like a taste palette.
In fact, I think Thai food is very similar to Sri Lankan and Indian food in the fact that they use a lot of coconut.
Yeah.
And also like just
You know
that
what?
like that spice. Like you
I
need that
would say
spice.
that the most similar and the most different, like the most different food that you can think of in terms of geography, but the most similar to Indian is like Mexican or Spanish food.
Not a bad
Yeah,
shout.
Very rice,
see
very
what-
rice base, very
Yeah.
rice base. The flavors pop, a lot of spice, you know. So
Mexican cuisine is actually a huge one, you know.
Mm.
I didn't think about it.
yeah,
Neither
I
did
was thinking heavily for Mexican
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I think
but I just
Mexican's
haven't
been an
had
oversight
enough
from all of us. I can't lie.
exposure. You know, it was a deliberate decision. I just couldn't put it in my top 3.
I completely forgot about it. And I just had Mexican like a few days ago. And I love
I
it, bro.
I forgot about it, but actually, I don't think it would be my top
Guzman Y Gomez.
Dude, even Guzman.
Did you have that? It's a great meal. Guzman y Gomez.
Right,
Bro,
I disagree.
I didn't know-
with
I didn't
Guzman.
know Guzman's in Australia. That was wild.
Oh,
It is?
Yeah, the first like my friend picked me up in Melbourne. The first meal we had was Guzman. She was like, "Oh, we're gonna GYG." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Oh, you don't mind Mexican, right?"
GYG.
I was like,
GYG.
"Okay." I just thought
GYG.
GYG is like a restaurant or something that they had there, but we pull up to like
GYG.
Guzman, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
no.
Yeah, there's one right next to my school. I go quite often.
Yeah, it is a good place to go.
Everywhere, Guzman.
All right, boys. It's 12:05. Shall we wrap it up
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, we
We
could wrap
can.
it up there.
That was a fun
Um,
one. That was a fun one.
It
That was a fun one. We could have dabbled more actually, so like shows us this potential for like this format in the future. See if this hits
Yeah.
with the audience. And also
Yeah,
sorry
if
for
we don't
like,
have anything topical to bring up,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
we could revert to this.
Sorry for the last like 10 minutes. My like audio and like video situation was a bit of a mess, but we salvage it in the end.
No, that's all right.
Oh,
I
no
don't think
worries.
anyone
I barely even realized.
I really was not looking at you.
No, I'm glad.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right, boys.
Thanks for
thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Spotify, YouTube. We dabble in Instagram. We dabble in Twitter. We X. We dabble in multiple social media forms, and at some point we will be releasing another form of social media that we will be informing you about at some point in the near future. Till
Oh,
then,
yeah, that'll
Inshallah.
be cool.
Inshallah.
yeah, exactly. Till then, thank you and see ya.